The Case of the Colorful Critters. A fun story about the mischievous antics of some animals. It has a happy ending. A story written and produced by Mark Antony. A gang of foxes met with a gang of raccoons in the forest. They were up to no good. The gang of raccoons went to a pet store at night. It was closed, of course, and they busted their way into it. They stole bags of cat food and left quickly, disappearing into the forest. The next day, poor Mr. Smith was upset to find his store a mess and lots of cat food had been stolen. So, he called and told the police. Inspector Doglet was sent to investigate and ask questions to Mr. Smith. That evening the police sent a police dog to come and stand guard. Nothing happened that night. A few nights later, the gang of raccoons went to a different pet store. They broke through the back door and stole bags of cat food again. Back at the police station, Captain Barkwell looked at a map and identified all pet stores in their town. He said, "There are too many pet stores for us to guard. We must find a way to catch the robbers." Inspector Doglet went to some pet stores and put some mud near the doors and windows. He hoped that any robbers would leave paw prints that they could follow. A few nights later, a gang or a raccoon busted into a pet store and stole more cat food. The next day, the owner told the police. Inspector Doglet went to the pet store and found paw prints as he hoped. He considered different animals that the paw prints were from and then concluded they were raccoons. So, raccoons were robbing the pet stores. So, Inspector Doglet followed the paw prints and found they led to the forest. He stayed there until nighttime hoping to catch the robbers, but no suspicious animals passed him. The next night, another pet store was broken into and this time it was dog food that was stolen. Poor Miss Taylor called the police and reported the break-in. Someone told the owner and the police that they had seen a few foxes acting suspiciously the previous day. A few nights later, the fox gang broke into another pet store and stole dog food again. Captain Barkwell looked at a board of suspects. On the wall, he had a board with photos of suspicious raccoons and foxes. But he needed evidence of which ones were guilty. He told his police force to think of a means of catching the robbers. Inspector Doglet got thinking. He had a plan and added food coloring to batches of cat food and dog food in various pet food stores. Meanwhile, the gangs of raccoons and foxes met to plan which gang would rob which pet food store and when. They were a mischievous group of critters. The gangs continued their break-ins and theft. They got away with bags of food and stored them in the forest away from the police. The raccoons were very happy with their successful raids and stockpiling food. The raccoons and foxes started to work together and raid some pet food stores together. When the gangs brought their bags of food back to the forest, the raccoons would take the cat food, and the foxes would take the dog food. The foxes opened some of their bags and munched on some tasty dog food. It tasted great, but they noticed they were getting different colors on their faces, fur and paws. That wasn't normal, and it wasn't good. The raccoons opened some of their bags and munched on some tasty cat food. It also tasted great, but they noticed they too were getting different colors on their faces, their fur and their paws. Yikes! A raccoon started grinning and laughing at his friends as they had bright colors on their faces and fur. Captain Barkwell put his team together. He exclaimed, "This is Operation Ambush. We are going to send teams into the forest, and we'll catch the robbers. By now, they should have food coloring all over them. We should easily be able to see who they are." Captain Barkwell had his team set up. They knew their roles and were ready to catch and arrest the robbers. Inspector Doglet heard a rustle in the trees. He ran over towards the noise, sniffing the air and peeling his eyes. He ran quickly to follow the noise. He heard scurrying and chatter. He exclaimed, "You are under arrest. You have evidence all over you. We have been tracking you for a few weeks." Randy Raccoon stood still. He was shocked and terrified. He knew he had been caught, and running would not be wise. However, some of the gang members made a run for it. They tried to run away, but other police crew were all around. Police raccoons were also stationed around the area to catch them. All the foxes and raccoons that had food coloring on them were rounded up and put under arrest. All the prisoners were put into the back of the police vehicles and taken to cells at the police station. A few days later, the raccoons were put back into a police vehicle and driven to the court for trial. There was no way they could get away. They were kept behind bars. The foxes were driven in another police van and attended court trial. They also looked unhappy. They knew they were guilty and would be ashamed in front of local animals. The judge was Judge Jenkins. He was a very experienced and respected raccoon judge, who was known to be firm but fair. He heard the charges and listened to the police and the prosecution lawyers. The judge stated that these were serious crimes, and due to their robberies, pet food stores were losing business and stock, and local people could not buy enough cat food and dog food. Because of this, some cats and dogs were not getting fed enough. It was a bad time for all. What defense do you have? Gang leader Randy Raccoon stood to address the court. "Well, Your Honor, we didn't mean for other animals to go hungry, nor to hurt the store owners. But we go hungry every winter. We were trying to keep some food supplies for winter when there is very little to eat for us animals in the forest. We are very sorry." Some of the spectators gasped, and a few comments of compassion were heard in court. The judge addressed the court and stated, "You have indeed been guilty of crimes against people and other animals. The court sentences you to 1 month of community service. You and your gangs will work in and clean up all the parks. If you all work hard to repay your debt to society and agree to not rob again, this town agrees to help provide you some food supplies in the winter months." Randy Raccoon stood again and said, "We agree, Your Honor. Thank you from us all." So, for the next month, the gang members had to clean up the parks. They swept and collected any garbage. They collected bits of branches and twigs and put them in for composting by the town. For lunch break, the gangs were given good food portions to enjoy. They really enjoyed helping and working in the park and enjoying the sunshine. They didn't feel so ashamed after all. They were repaying for their crimes and serving the town and being fed well. In the afternoons, the gangs resumed their work. They were driven to clean up more of the parks. At one of the parks, Inspector Doglet came to watch them working. He seemed happy to see them working well. the park staff warden told him that good work was being done. He was very happy with the cleanup and the gang were very helpful and no trouble at all. Some other townsfolk and animals visited the park and were happy to see such great work being done. Captain Barkwell was delighted. The crime was solved, the pet stores were now safe, the robbers were caught and they did community service. The parks were very clean and tidy. And the gangs were also happy. Case closed. Now that the pet food stores were safe, there was plenty of dog food for local dogs. And lots of cat food available for pet cats. And in the winter, the town helped provide some food to the raccoons and foxes to help them get through the winter. Thank you for helping us read this lovely story. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to watch it any time.
In the whispering pines of the forest glade, a fox and a raccoon formed a daring brigade. Under moonlight they tiptoed past the pet shop door, ready to sneak out with treats galore. He raided the shelves where kibble was stored, snatched cans of cat food and every dog's reward. Inspector Doglet arrived, the curious plan, spread muddy clues where the robbers ran. Paw prints in mud led him through the night. He traced every track by lantern light. So he laced the pet food with colorful dye, bright blues and greens they could never deny. The critters munched down, thought it a tasty surprise, till every paw, whisker, and tail changed hue before their eyes. Foxes blinked twice in a purple disguise, raccoons looked over with rainbow eyes. Captain Barkwell heard the news with a bark, it's Operation Ambush, we'll strike at the mark. Team set the trap beneath shadowy trees, waiting to nab them with effortless ease. Caught in the forest with colors so bright, their coats told the tale in the pale moonlight. Dragged off to court in their vibrant array, Judge Jenkins would hear what they had to say. Why stole you the food when the winter was near? He asked from the bench as the courtroom drew near. We're hungry, they pleaded, no stores left in sight. He weighed their excuse in the hush of the night. 1 month of service, the verdict was plain. Clean every park till the snow leaves again. So foxes and raccoons swept the paths and the grass, picked up each bottle and every lost glass. The town lent a hand with wintertime fare. Now no critter goes hungry out there. The case of the colorful critters is done, with clean parks, full bellies, and mischief outrun.